Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock and roll. We are live in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming on, I want you to drop in the comments what city you're watching us from. Happy, happy, happy New Year. And you should be putting in the comments Happy New Year as well. Happy New Year to you, to your family. If you're watching us from Facebook Live, if you're watching us from YouTube Live, please drop in the comments what city you're watching me from. And put a Happy New Year in the comments for me as well. We would really appreciate that. So I'm very, very excited today, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all see I'm in the office, and behind you is the view of the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. We did have a little overcast earlier, so you could see a little clearer out there, but the sun has obviously popped out of the clouds just a few minutes ago. So again, if you're coming on, happy, happy, happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your family. Today is the day that the Lord has made. This is day one of 2022. And I got so many things I want to share with you for the next few moments that I'll be live. But before I do, please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody, and let them know Prophet Ramon and the squad. The squad is lurking. The squad is always lurking. Even if the squad is not in person, they always lurking. But let them know Prophet Ramon, he is live on YouTube and Facebook, and he is going to be talking to us on this first day of this new year about goals and schedules, about setting the right goals and making sure that your goals that have been set right are complemented with the right schedules, okay? That's what we're gonna be talking about today. Now, while you're hitting the like button, the share button, tagging some family members, some friends, your kids, maybe y'all just home relaxing today, resting, here's what I also want you to do. Make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube page. We are pushing towards 7,000 subscribers. My goal is to get to 10,000. That was my goal for 2021. So I rolled my 21 goal over into 2022. We're still pushing to get to 10,000 subscribers. We're almost at 7. So please, even if you're watching from Facebook, would you please be so kind to go to YouTube whenever the live is over, or if you have another device, and subscribe to my YouTube page. Be sure to like us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. Your likes, your follows, your subscriptions, your shares, your comments, everything that you do is appreciated by me and by my family, by my team, because you're helping us help more people. I have an assignment for ministry and for the marketplace. And this year, my goal is to really take that assignment to the next level. And I can't do it alone. I can't just do it with staff. I can't just do it with people who are part of my team here. I have to do it by connecting with more of you, with your family members and your friends, and being a reflection of what you want to pursue in your own personal, professional, and financial life. So please be sure to subscribe and put in the comments what city you're watching me from. Now, here's what I'm gonna do, because I do have a few things that I wanna talk to you about today, okay? This is day one. And make sure that you have a pen or a notepad or some type of device that you can take some notes on, okay? I want you to take some notes today, and I really want you to take a few minutes if you haven't already. And even if you have, I've already gone over my affirmations today. I've already gone over my goals. I've already done a lot of work today. I'm here in the office continuing to do some work. And guess what? I'm planning on going back over my affirmations and my goals today. And here is one of the reasons why. There's a law called the law of first things. Have you ever heard of that law? It's called the law of first things. You might want to write that down. It's called the law of first things. The law of first things. And what the law of first things suggests is that whatever you do first, it sets the precedent. It sets a standard for whatever you do next. Does that make sense? So this law of first things is actually a biblical law. It's a biblical law. Think about it. God was requiring his people in the Bible to give the first fruits of their portion. Okay, so whether that was the first fruits of their livestock, the first fruits of their gold, their silver. For us, it's a way of tithing or giving a portion, a first portion of our increase to the Lord through the vehicle of the local church. But let's just simplify it. Let's just say that the law of first fruits can be seen in what you do first. Typically for us in the faith community, when it comes to our money and our treasures, we pay our tithes. So if we make $100, we take $10 and we give it to the church and we put on the envelope, this is my tithe. Well, now we'll Venmo or we'll Cash App or PayPal $10 and we'll say, I made $100, I took 10 and I paid my tithes. Now, what is the thought behind that? The thought behind that is I want what's left, or what I do with what's left. What's next for me to do with the 90, I want it to be blessed, right? Well, this is literally the foundation, the biblical foundation of first things. Now, why is that important today? Because what you do today can literally set in motion the law of first things. Just imagine if you set a standard today, a financial standard, a health standard, a relationship standard, a mental standard, a business standard, a professional standard, a ministry standard. What if you just set a standard today, not just with things that you are thinking about or things that you're speaking, but things that you're doing, like actions that you can actually take today? What if you set that precedent and that standard and you activated the law of first things to the extent that every day following today could actually reflect what you did today? How much better off would 2022 be? How much more effective and impactful can you be? Okay, so that's what I want to talk to you about when I say I want to talk about goals and scheduling. It's all built on the law of first things. So if you can at least take a portion of today, and maybe you have already, but there's nothing wrong with going back and repeating it again. You're still locked in this first day. You're still in the first 24-hour window of day one of 2022. And I want this year to be the most extraordinary year ever. I want this year to be the greatest year ever. And I truly believe that it can be the most extraordinary year for you. It can be the greatest year for you. But you're going to have to put some information to practice. You're going to have to take things that you're getting and you're hearing and you're digesting, and you're going to have to implement it and execute it. So while I'm talking about goals and scheduling, if you have a question, I'm going to do my best to go back and forth between YouTube and Facebook. I'm not going to be able to get on any other platforms. We typically stream on YouTube and Facebook live. And so if you're watching from any one of those platforms, feel free to drop any question that you may have in the comments, okay? But I'm not going to guarantee that I'll be able to get to the question, because I'm only going to be able to look at the questions from one platform at a time. But again, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you on behalf of my wife, my staff, our business, our ministry, our entire organizational enterprise. We want you to know that we're rooting for you this year, and whatever it is that we can do to help assist you, we want to help assist you to get to the next level, personally, to get to the next level, professionally, to get to the next level financially, and more importantly, to get to the next level spiritually. I truly believe, and I said this to a few people last night while we were on our way to our watch night service, I truly believe that we are living in a time, this particular time time that we're in right now, where we're dealing with a global pandemic. We're dealing with economic uncertainty. We have tens of millions of people leaving their jobs and or going virtual, meaning that they're no longer going to be showing up in person. So we're in the middle of a digital revolution where a lot of technology, a lot of AI, artificial intelligence, a lot of cryptocurrencies, a lot of these things are starting to gain momentum, meaning that they're going to overwhelm a lot of the old systems and infrastructures. And so because of the time that we're living in, people of faith, those of us who serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, those of us who believe in miracle signs and wonders, those of us who believe that God speaks to us prophetically and that we can obey God through those prophetic revelations and instructions and get momentum and get movement and really see the manifestation of what we believe God is speaking to us about. Those of us who are in that type of community, it's more important than ever before in this time for us to really tap into the spiritual aspect of our being. See, you're not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And if you can just tap into it initially, or maybe back into it because you were tapped into it, if you could just tap into that spiritual capacity, that part of you that you don't really see with your natural eye, but you know exists, the divine nature, the anointed you, the spirit you, if you can just tap into that dimension and start feeding from that dimension, you're going to put yourself in the best position possible so that you can see progress in other areas. So, for example, it's hard for you to see progress financially when you haven't made progress spiritually. It's hard for you to see progress in relationships when your relationship with God hasn't progressed. It's hard for you to really have a healthy and a whole life in other areas when you don't have a healthy and whole life in the spiritual area of your life. And so even before I get into the goals and the grind and the hustle and the numbers and the math and the products and services and the business and all the things that we talk about a lot when it comes to marketplace success, I want to just challenge you to really take a spiritual step back today. And maybe it'll just be a few minutes today that you really start taking inventory of who am I as a spirit being? Who am I as a spirit being? And my relationship with God on a spiritual level needs to rise to the surface and be the fuel behind these other things that I do. Because during this time, a lot of people are being filled with fear. A lot of people are uncertain. A lot of people are dealing with anxiety. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people feel as if life is going to end for them and that they're going to die of the virus because there's a global pandemic that's going on. But here's what I want you to understand as a spirit being. Paul the apostle said in Romans 8:28, for we know that all things work together for the good of those of us who love God and who are called according to his purpose. That scripture or scriptures like that don't just apply to your life for haters or for people who coming against you. All things are working together for your good. So it's not that we're going to deny that there's a pandemic. It's not that we're going to deny that there's a virus. It's not that we're going to deny that there's economic uncertainty. We're not going to deny the facts, but we choose to obey the truth. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to use wisdom. It doesn't mean that we're not going to use discretion. It doesn't mean that we're not going to use common sense. But what it means is, despite the wisdom and the discretion and the common sense that we use, there are some things we just cannot prevent in this world. You cannot prevent certain things. You cannot control the overall narrative when certain things happen. But what you can prevent is allowing yourself to become victimized by what's going on in this world. Okay? So whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a plague like what Moses and the children of Israel face, whether it's persecution like the first century church experienced, we as people of God, as spirit beings, have to rise above that and not allow ourselves to be victimized by what we see going on. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Do you hear what I'm saying? And I'm being very sincere with this because this is something that I spoke to my team about. This is something that I have had conversations upon conversations over and over again to myself about, to remind myself that no matter what it is that's going on in this world, I ain't gonna be stupid. I'm not gonna be foolish, but I'm not gonna live in fear and trepidation and intimidation and doubt and disbelief and insecurity and uncertainty because of what the world is saying is going on. Because we serve a God that has all power. We serve a God that has given us the ability to overpower all the power of the enemy. And so these things that we are seeing going on come with the territory. It comes with the territory. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. A pandemic is not necessarily worse than persecution. Some of our ancestors, some of our dear fellow brothers and sisters in the faith today are in certain places in the world living in a different time than what you and I are living in. So we tripping about coronas and variants of corona and medical pandemics and economic issues. And there are people that are being slaughtered and being murdered and being persecuted just because they serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Now, it doesn't minimize what we see going on. It doesn't dismiss what we have to deal with. But here is what we have to do. We have to tap into that spiritual part of us and allow that anointing and that revelation and the promises of God to rise, to make a stand, to say, you know what? To live is Christ and to die is gain. So unless or until it is time for Jesus's imminent return, or it's time for us to leave this planet, we're going to do the will of him that sent us. We're going to be obedient to the assignment that God has given to us. We're going to be, as Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15:58, we're going to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Why? Knowing this, that our labor in the Lord is not in vain. So even before I get into all this other marketplace business and success and financial and economic stuff, I want to challenge you. But I also want to simultaneously encourage you. The challenge is for you to step into your spirit position. And the encouragement is for you to maintain the courage to know that he that began a good work in you is faithful to complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. So we're not going to walk in fear today or any day in 2022. We're not going to walk in disbelief. We're not going to walk in intimidation. We're not going to walk in trepidation. We're not going to walk in uncertainty. We're not going to live our lives every day as if we're walking on eggshells because we're afraid to breathe. We're afraid to sneeze. We're afraid to cough. We're afraid to do what God has called us to do and fulfill our assignments, when some of this is a demonic attack to annihilate your assignment. So I decree and declare over you today in the name of Jesus that what God has given you to do in 2022, you shall fulfill it. Your business is going to be fulfilled. Your ministry is going to be fulfilled. Your business and ministry is going to grow. Your finances are going to excel. You shall not die, but live and declare and demonstrate the works of Almighty God. In Jesus' name, amen. And so now that we've established that spiritual foundation, because it all starts with the spirit. And I'm not backing off of that. I'm not letting up on that. Especially when I know without a shadow of a doubt, despite what happens in this world, we still have an assignment to complete. Despite pandemics, despite viruses, despite wars and rumors of wars, which, by the way, all of this has been spoken about in the Bible. So what we see going on is no surprise to God. And it's no shock to heaven. So we're not going to be surprised and shocked when we should be mindful of Satan's devices. And even if what we see going on is not 100% demonic, well, it's worldly. And whether it's demonic or worldly, if it ain't godly, and even if God is in it, it don't necessarily mean it's godly. It just means that God is in it to navigate you and I through it. And so we're going to push through this. We're going to do what God called us to do. We're going to build our businesses. We're going to build legacies. We're going to become millionaires and multimillionaires and billionaires. We're going to finance the gospel. We're going to save souls. We're going to help our churches. We're going to serve our communities. We're going to support our families. What we ain't finna do is bow down before the Nebuchadnezzars of this world as if they control the narrative of what the will of the Lord is. For this is the will of the Lord concerning you. So in everything, give thanks. So now that we've established that fact, which is probably the most important fact, let's take a look at what you should be doing today. Because again, I want you to establish a precedent, a standard. Okay? Every day, beginning today, you should take a few minutes, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, to go over your goals, to read your goals, to write your goals down, and to at least internalize what it is that you foresee happening in your personal, your professional, your financial, your ministry life, your life as a whole. All right? So just in case this is your first time watching me, you've never participated in any event that I've hosted, live or virtual, you've never had access to our university training platform, you've never been coached, consulted, or mentored by me. Let's just assume this is your first time listening to me or watching me. Well, I define goals as dreams with plans, okay? And so let's establish that fact. If you're preparing to literally write down new goals or reset old goals or just update what it is that you are anticipating to do, understand that your goals are dreams with plans, okay? So if you're taking notes, I want you to write that down. Goals are dreams with plans. That's what goals are. Goals are dreams with plans. So when I set a goal, when I write a goal down, when I make the decision to start moving towards reaching a goal, what am I setting? What am I writing down? What am I starting to reach towards? These are dreams. So I want you to take a moment to think about in your business, professionally maybe, in your ministry, ministerially, in your finances, even in your life personally, you may have to categorize those areas. You may need an area for business. You may need an area for ministry. You may need an area for finances. You may need an area for personal. And if you need to categorize those areas, then you just need to get papers or notes, and you just need to set a category for business goals for 2022. Personal goals for 2022, ministry goals for 2022, financial goals for 2022. And once you write those 4 categories of goals down, now you want to start thinking about things that you are dreaming to fulfill. So your business, your ministry, your personal, and your financial goals. Let's say if you have those 4 as categories. Well, what you're going to write down under each of those categories, or if it's just one set of goals, those things that you write down need to be based on dreams that you have. They need to be based on dreams that you have. Because in order for your goals to be goals, by definition, they need to be dreams with plans. So even before you start planning, you want to dream. Okay, dreaming comes before planning. So what are you dreaming about? Well, if you think about things that you're dreaming about in business, in ministry, in finances, or personally, they're probably bigger than what a typical goal is, right? This is why I like to use the word dream to not necessarily replace goal, but to make goal make more sense. So when you think about writing goals down for this year, your goals should be dreams. I should be able to look at your list. If you handed me your list and said, Ramon, prophet, apostle, whatever you call me, here are my goals for 2022. Here are my business goals for 2022. Here are my financial goals. Here are my ministry goals. Here are my personal goals. I should be able to read those goals and be like, oh, wow. Oh, you got big goals. Why do you have big goals? Because your goals are actually versions of your dreams. So I don't want you to write goals down that make sense to you based on where you are. So for example, let's say if you have a financial goal and you base your financial goal on the fact that you ain't got no money today, or you don't have a lot of money, or you're deep in debt, or your business is not really booming, or you haven't really gotten a raise on your job, or no foreseeable promotion. Well, guess what? That's not how you base your goals. Because your goals need to be based on what are you dreaming to accomplish. Now, here's some things that I want you to think about when you're writing these new goals down for 2022. Here's some things that I want you to think about. A mentor of mine asked me this question, and this question has been resonating with me for a while. The question was this: what if your current goals were 10 times more than what they are right now? Think about that. What if your current goals were 10 times more than what they are right now? So that means if you have a financial goal to make $100,000 this year, let's say if that's your financial goal, $100,000 this year, that's about $8,500 a month for 12 months. That's about $2,200 a week, which means this week, the first week of the year, of the first month, you need to make $2,200. Every week moving forward for the next 52 weeks, you need to make $2,200, so that every month you bring in about $85 to land you at $100,000 by December 31st of 2022, right? Well, what if the question is, what if your current goals, let's say if they were of $100,000, you want to make six figures this year, what if they were 1 million? What if you 10 times those goals? Maybe your goal is just to make 50 grand this year. What if you 10 times the goal? So I want you to think about what your financial goal is this year. What is the number that you want to reach this year, that you want to make this year? What is that dollar amount? Okay. Maybe there's some goals in your business. You may have goals in your business to sell a certain amount of products or to get a certain amount of clients. Here's what I want you to do off the rip. All right. I mean, like out the gate. I want you, if you have goals that you've written down, you read through today, you fleshed them out, you spoke them out of your mouth and you prayed over them and all that. I want you to go back before the day is over with, and you know what I want you to do? I want you to multiply whatever goal you have. If you have numbers associated to those goals, I want you to multiply that by 10. Period. I want you to multiply that by 10. Now, again, I don't know if you are a member of our coaching community. I don't know if you are a student in our Millionaire Blueprint program. I don't know if you are a mentee in our Millionaire Mentorship program. But here's what I want to say. If you are not a part of our Millionaire Blueprint or our Millionaire Mentorship program, I I want to urge you to reach out to me today so we can get you started on this path. I have a goal setting course in my Millionaire Blueprint that has a template that literally walks you through each step of what I'm talking about so that you can learn how to set goals properly. You can learn how to write down your action steps for each day, and I provide templates for you. So if you know you need that extra push, you know you need a mentor and a coach and a team and a circle or community of people to support you and to back you, to hold you accountable, to reach your goals, I want you to reach out to me today. Do not wait until Monday. Literally, I was talking to my personal assistant earlier. I'm super proud of her because she called me earlier and she was literally drafting a contract for someone, I believe in California on the other side of the world, who wanted to join our Millionaire Mentorship Program for 2022, and they wanted to start today. They said they're not waiting. I'm like, this is how you do it. This is how you kick poverty in the butt. This is how you drag procrastination through the mud, by making a decision and committing to that decision that you make, to literally going to levels that you never even imagined you could go to. But you need the right people around you. So I just thought I would drop that in. If you are not a member of our coaching community, our Millionaire Mentorship Program, if you're not on our Millionaire Blueprint Program, and you know you need to start today, don't wait till Monday. What happens today will set the precedent or the standard for every day. I want you to reach out to me. All you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. We can get you onboarded and started today. You can start today and go through the goal setting course. You can download the templates. You can start writing your new goals out. You can start training on some of our other courses. And if you join our Millionaire Mentorship Program, we have 3 tiers. You can join me Monday for our first live coaching call of the year. Every Monday we host coaching calls, live business coaching calls. And so I would love for you to be a part of that weekly call for our mentorship program. We have coaching clients that are on that call every week. And you can start training today. You can start learning about goal setting, everything that I'm talking to you about. We literally have masterminds in our Millionaire Blueprint where we take 2 or 3 hours and walk you through goal setting. We walk you through scheduling. We show you how to qualify your goals and quantify your goals. All you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. We can get you onboarded today. It's Saturday the 1st. What a better time of the year to start than today. Today would be a perfect time for you to start training, for you to get plugged in, for you to get a mentor, and for you to literally live out your resolutions and your goals. So now back to a goal. A goal is what? By definition, a dream with a plan, okay? So what I want you to do is, I want you to start rewriting your goals if you already have goals, or initially writing your goals, but I want you to first think about the math or the numbers behind what do you want to accomplish this year, and I want you to multiply that by 10. I want you to multiply that by 10. So if you have a goal to hire 5 people, I want you to set a goal to hire 50 people. If you have a goal to make $30,000 more this year than what you're making, or to make 6 figures this year, I want you to multiply it. You got to start getting used to numbers that may be out of your mental limitation range. Okay? So that means if you want to make 6 figures this year, you need to have written down as a goal that you want to make $1 million. Because if you fail, even if you fail at 95% of what you want to do with $1 million goal, well, you still made 50 grand. That's way better than setting a goal for 50 grand and you end up with 28. So if we're going to fail, we want to fail so high that failure is actually success in reverse. Did you catch what I said? I said if we're going to fail, we want to fail so high that our failure is actually success in reverse. Think about if you set a goal for $1 million this year or $500,000 this year instead of 50,000, and you failed at 90%. You failed at 90%. You still ended up with 50,000. But what if you happen to make 30% of what you set out to do? You've gone from 50,000 to 150 just because of how you set your goal, okay? So that's the question that I want you to ask yourself. What if your current goals were 10 times more? Now here's the question. Once you start setting those goals, I'm gonna walk you through this, but you need to write your goals down with words first. Okay, that means if you have a goal to make 100,000, you need to write that down in words. I am making 100,000, or I have $100,000 in 2022. So you want to put that information in future tense if you can. No, the worst case scenario is present tense. Like all of the goals that I've written down, all of my goals that I write down, they're all in future tense or present tense. Like, let me give you an example. All of my goals start with I am a whatever. I have whatever. I am whatever. I have whatever. My kids are whatever. My wife and I have. My wife and I are. I have. So if you notice, all of my goals start with I am, as if I'm already living in the future, or I have, as if I've already possessed what is coming in the future. So don't write your goals down in past tense, like, well, I want this, or I'm hoping for this, or I'm believing God for this, because you need to take yourself out of the past and to some extent out of the present, and you really need to sit or stand yourself into the future. This is how you set your goals, okay? So let's say if you have a goal to make $100,000 this year. Well, you should write that down. I have $100,000 in revenue for 2022. I have $100,000 in revenue. Now, if you're listening to me and you're going to multiply that by 10, you're going to write down, I have $1 million of revenue in 2022. I have $1 million of revenue in 2022. I have $1 million of revenue. I have $500,000 in revenue. Whatever your initial number was, I want you to multiply it. But I want you to write it down with information, with words first. Once you write it down with information, that means you have qualified that goal. What do you mean you qualified it? That means you have put information in writing that it's visible. You can see it. You can read it. You can comprehend it. You can study it, right? Next, you want to quantify that goal by doing the math. I want you to write that down in numerical terms. So if you wrote down words, I have $1 million of revenue in 2022, then how do you quantify that statement with numbers? You have to write down $1, 000, 000. Now, why do you want to complement that with math? Because I want to read what I have, but I also want to see the math behind what I have, if that makes sense. I want to see the math behind what I have because I want to start doing the math. Otherwise, your goal is just going to stay in the information level. It's going to stay in the information level. You're going to continue to read that every day. I have $1 million of revenue in 2022. You can read that 30 times a day, every day for the rest of this year. It doesn't mean you're going to see any difference in your money. But what's going to help move you closer to taking action is when you take that statement of words and then you do the math on it. you put a mathematical calculation together so that you can start building out what your game plan is going to be. Am I making sense? So once you do that, you want to write down that number, whatever that 10 times more number is, and now you want to start asking yourself some very important questions. Okay, so let's assume you have a certain dollar amount that you want to make this year. You've written it down as a goal in future terms. I have whatever that dollar amount is in 2022. Let's assume you did that and then you quantified it by just putting that number, that digit on paper. Now, what is the next thing you need to do? Now you need to ask yourself this question. For me to reach that goal, here's the question I want you to ask yourself. For you to reach that goal, how would you accomplish that? How are you going to accomplish that? If it's 6 figures a year, if it's $1 million a year, if it's $70,000 a year, if you totaled all your debt up and it was $275,000 of debt that you want to have gone, and you want to have $100,000 saved, which totals $300,000, how are you going to accomplish that? How are you going to get that number of 375? So here's a question that you need to ask yourself. Write this question down. What has to change? What has to change? Ask yourself that question. For you to reach that dollar amount that you write down as a goal with words, and that you write down as a mathematical equation, for you to reach that goal, question number 1, what has to change? What has to change? I can tell you a lot of things that's going to have to change, because I ask myself that question. Like literally, I have a new dollar amount that I'm reaching this year. I have a new financial goal that I'm reaching this year. My wife understands it. We're on the same page. My team, my staff, they even know it. They understand. They're on the same page. Everybody around me, my close family, they all know where I'm headed. Like literally, if you asked any of them, what is the dollar amount that Ramon is reaching towards in 2022? I guarantee if they paying attention and listening to me, they can all tell you what that number is. You know why? Because I have qualified that number with words, and I have quantified it. And I've asked myself over and over again for the last couple weeks, and I'm doing it today again, what has to change for me to reach that number? What has to change? A lot of things have to change. First of all, the information I receive has to change. So that means I've got to start listening to people who have already done that. I got to start getting, and if I'm not getting the right information from them, it's not because they don't have the right information. It may be because I haven't paid enough to get that close to them. You get what I'm saying? So what has to change in order for you to hit that number? Probably your education, your training. Maybe you are thinking about going back to school to get another degree that ain't even going to get you closer to this number. See, you need to make sure that what has to change is the right change that's taking place, so that you ain't just changing, but none of that change is getting you closer to your goal. So when I talk to people and they say, well, I'm going back to get 3 more degrees, and I'm thinking to myself, you must not have any financial goals, because I don't know how those degrees are going to get you closer to this if you're trying to get to that. Or maybe you just have a different type of goal. But if you have quantified goals, that means you see numbers, you see dollars, and you see digits, and you're not just trying to figure out how to get more information for the sake of getting more information. You're learning how to get information so that you can get closer to that number. All right? So that's a question you want to ask yourself. That's a question you want to ask yourself. You want to ask yourself the question, what exactly, Ramon, has to change? What has to change? You need to write a whole lot of things down. There should be a whole lot of things that you're writing down that has to change. Your surroundings may have to change. You may need to move. Where you living at might be your problem. Who you around Maybe the job you own, even if you take a pay cut, maybe you just need to take a $3 pay cut just to get closer to somebody or to people who could get you further. So ask yourself that critical question. What has to change, but make sure you have that number. Because don't talk about things that need to change and you ain't got no number, because you're not going to change. You're not going to challenge yourself. But once you got a number, and you start looking at that number and you thinking, now hold up, in order for me to get to that number, man, a whole lot of stuff got to change. My habits got to change, my schedule, my behavior, the way I learn, me educating myself, my daily activities, my routine, the things that I do for fun. Like, so many things are going to have to change. But are you willing to change those things to get to that goal? That's the whole game, right? You got to make that decision and commit to it. Here's the next question. And I talked about this last week in my coaching call. The next question is, what do I have to give up? What do you have to give up? Or should I say, who do you have to give up? Like, what do you have to give up? So let's say if one of the things that you have to change is your education. Let's just say you're not educating yourself. You're not training every day. You're not learning every day. And let's just say you make the decision and the commitment that I need to join a program like Ramon's Millionaire Blueprint, because I need to have access to information to learn every day about business, about money, about entrepreneurship, about finances, about sales and marketing. And he has a program that I know is faith-based. He's anointed. He is successful. I know he knows what he's talking about. I need access to that so that every day I can log in and I can let him coach me and mentor me every day. Think about that. You can literally listen to me every day. I can be coaching you and mentoring you every day, because a lot of times it ain't just the information that you're getting from somebody like me. You know what it is? It's the energy. It's the excitement. It's the drive. It's the determination. Because every time you see me, I'm showing up. You know why I'm showing up every time you see me? In person, on video, wherever you see me. Anytime I'm showing up, because I have big dreams that I have qualified and that I have quantified and I am pursuing on a daily basis. It doesn't mean I don't get sick. It doesn't mean I don't face challenges. It doesn't mean I don't have bad days. It doesn't mean that I don't have weak moments. It doesn't mean that I don't want to give up and throw in the towel. It doesn't mean that I don't doubt myself and wonder if I'm doing the right thing. None of that is important. What it means is, despite all of those things, I'm going to show up, because my dreams are more important than my problems. And so you need to get in an atmosphere, in an ecosystem where somebody can get in your ear and you can start listening to that vibe. Not just the content on business, not just the content on money, not just the content on sales or marketing or holding companies or goal setting. It's not just intellectual information that you're getting. It's the energy, the anointing, the vibe, right? That thing that is in someone else that's starting to get on you. It's only a certain amount of time that you're going to be around a certain type of person before they start rubbing off on you. And so sometimes I listen to people who I follow and I look up to, and I'm not even listening to the content as much as I'm just listening to how they giving it. I'm catching the vibe. I'm like, oh my God, man, you getting me hyped, man, just because you on one. And it gives me the momentum and the energy that I need. And so that may be a change you got to make. You may need to make that change. Because if all you watching is the news and you just trying to find the right person on YouTube, and you're just, Googling your life away, trying to see who is who, you're never locking in. You're never locking in. That's one of the things that I take so much pride in when it comes to mentorship, when it comes to submission and fellowship, because I have always been like a sponge, to the extent that when I find the right person, I will clamp onto that person and I'm not letting go. I'm going for the whole ride. I'm not letting go. When I find the right person, I'm not letting go. My spiritual father, he died last year, and for almost 20 years, my wife and I sat at his feet. And for years, he was hosting mentoring sessions twice a week for 2 different groups of people here in Atlanta. These were groups of apostles and business owners and successful people. And guess what? I was coming to both of them. And literally, every mentoring session that he hosted was the same one, just with a different set of people. It was the same message. It was the same points. I would come Wednesday morning with that group, get everything, hang out with them, go to lunch. And then the Thursday night, I'll come back with a whole new group. I was the only one coming twice other than him. But guess what? I gleaned so much. I was gleaning double while other people were just gleaning singular. Think about that. So every time he said the same thing again from the day before, I was catching new information. And it was a wow moment for them, and it was like a wow moment for me because I caught that and that. And it was literally accelerating my progress as a leader, my progress as a man, my progress as an apostolic pioneer, my progress as a CEO, my progress for what it is that I wanted to do as an entrepreneur. And I've always remained that way. I've always remained that way. I've always been that way. And that's something that you may need, especially if you don't have that right now. So the question is, what do you have to change? What do you have to give up? Maybe you got to give up your pride, thinking that you know what you're doing and you're not successful. Maybe you just need to give up how you see life. Like maybe the way you see life is just wrong. Maybe you're right with a lot of things, but the few things you're wrong about, they're costing you success. They're costing you progress. They're costing you great relationships because you're unwilling to what? Give up what you're holding on to. The Bible calls that a stronghold. People who have things that they hold strong to have strongholds. And sometimes how you were raised can be a stronghold. How you were educated in school was a stronghold. Who you grew up around and what your uncle taught you and what your auntie showed you and what mama said to do and not to do. They may have been right about a lot of things, but they were wrong about things too. Especially when it comes to success and progress if you have not seen it in them or yourself. Question number 3, here's the next question. What vehicle do I need? That's a goal question. You got to ask yourself, what vehicle do I need? Like what type of vehicle do I need in order to hit that number? Maybe the vehicle that you're in right now is not the right vehicle. I don't know how many times I talk to my clients when I sit down with them in coaching sessions, consulting them, mentoring them, and we go over the business that they have. We go over the products and services that they have. We go over the ideas that they have. And I do my best to tell them this is just not it. Some of them just don't have the right business. It's not a business model that will get you to 100,000. The products and the services that you have are not good enough to make you $250,000. So guess what you got to do? You got to get out of that vehicle. You got to get out of that vehicle. If your business is a vehicle that just cannot scale to get you to a certain number, if you know what that number is, get out of it. Change it. Now you may say, how can I get out of it and change it? I don't know what to do. This is why you need to change the information you get. This is why you need to learn more about business. See, most of what I do as a coach and a consultant is centered around teaching you and assisting you in starting the right business system, structuring the right business system, developing the right products and services, positioning yourself the right way in the market with that business and those products and services so that it is duplicatable and scalable. It took me years to figure that out. It took me years to figure that out. But once you figure it out, you can now scale because it's scalable. It's scalable. And if you're not in that kind of business, maybe that's why you keep hitting a brick wall or a ceiling or a roadblock. So you have to ask yourself, what vehicle do you need? Now, again, all of these questions that I'm asking and answering in no uncertain terms, I have available. I can provide this service to you as a coach if you need a coach. I can provide this service to you as a consultant if you need a consultant. Or guess what? Maybe you need both. You need a hybrid of consulting and coaching for your business, for your ministry, for your finances, and even for your personal life. Well, this is why I put together this Millionaire Mentorship Program. We just launched. Today is really the official launching day of our Millionaire Mentorship Program. It is a 1-year mentorship program. It is simply an accelerated version of coaching and consulting. So what I have decided to do was to take my core competency, my skill, my expertise as a coach, a business coach, my expertise as a business consultant, and integrate it into a hybrid program that gives you the best of what I provide through my organizational enterprise, Ramon Preston Enterprises, okay? So it is a hybrid of what I do as a coach, as a consultant, and as a trainer, and I'm taking the entire year to work with you. We have 3 tiers for this Millionaire Mentorship Program. We have a gold membership, we have a platinum membership, and we have a diamond membership. So all 3 tiers, all 3 memberships get access to our weekly coaching calls. Every Monday, you come on to a live weekly coaching call where we're training you, we're doing Q&As, we're interacting. You have a community of like-minded people. There are a lot of awesome relationships that have been made just from that weekly coaching call. Our Millionaire Mentorship Program, all 3 tiers give you access to our quarterly mastermind workshop. So every quarter we host live and or virtual, depending on how you want to join, events. These are going to be 1-day events that we host every quarter. So from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. you can join me in person or join us virtually, and we're going to train you on the nuts and bolts of sales and marketing, business systems, holding companies, financial systems, QuickBooks, tax strategies. We're going to be training you on some of the most important aspects of running a successful, scalable business. So all of our mentees get access to those quarterly workshop masterminds. All of our Millionaire Mentorship members get 1-year access to our Millionaire Blueprint. This is our online training program. It is a business and financial wealth building program, video-based, hundreds of training videos. We have documents and forms and tutorials. We train you on goal setting, holding companies, starting them, structuring them, filing and forming your paperwork. We have tutorials. We have operating agreements. We train you on sales, how to create a sales system, marketing, how to create marketing campaigns. We train you on financial systems, accounting, QuickBooks, balance sheets, cash flow. We train you on real estate investing. All of this information is in that Millionaire Blueprint. And so all of our Millionaire Mentorship members get access to those benefits. Our platinum members and our diamond members get access to in-person one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you join our platinum Millionaire Mentorship, you get access to quarterly one-on-one sessions. So that means every quarter we're going to drop in and we're going to coach you and keep you updated on what it is that we have initially set in our initial session. So if you would like to join that Millionaire Mentorship Program, I want you to text the word millionaire to me now. Text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. So again, our Millionaire Mentorship Program, it is 1 year. We start you off with an initial coaching session. So that means once we sign you up, once we onboard you, we're going to schedule an initial session where I will take some time to put together a game plan for you to make sure that we understand what type of structure you need for your business, what type of systems you need, what type of processes you need, and we're going to set the trajectory for a year out for you. And then once we execute that initial one-on-one coaching session, we're going to give you access to our weekly coaching calls. We're going to give you access to our on-demand Millionaire Blueprint program that you can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And guess what? We're also giving you access to our Millionaire Concierge. So there's going to be someone that you're going to be able to communicate with and connect to. If there's anything that you need, we have a concierge service that we're providing just for our Millionaire mentees. And again, our platinum membership gives you access to quarterly check-ins. So once a quarter, we will check in with you in person, sit down. Either it's in person or it's virtual via Zoom. Our diamond members, just in case you really want to accelerate your life, our diamond members, we're giving you monthly check-ins. So anyone that joins our Diamond Millionaire Mentorship, we're giving you monthly coaching check-ins. So every 30 days, we're dropping in. Can you imagine joining a business coaching and consulting program? Just think about this. Imagine joining a business coaching and consulting program with a business coach and consultant that knows what they're doing. And imagine joining that program and having an initial coaching session where they help set up your whole infrastructure for the year, make sure that you have a game plan for the year, give you access to weekly calls for a year, 52 weekly coaching calls, gives you access to a 24-hour-a-day on-demand interactive training platform for business and finances and real estate and goal setting and leadership and so much more. But in addition to that, gives you access to quarterly events, live events that we host, one-day events, 4 of those. And then in addition to that, you get access to monthly coaching check-ins. I mean, how can you go wrong? How can you lose? You get onboarded, you get an initial coaching call, you join the weekly coaching calls, you go to the quarterly events, you get access to the on-demand platform, and then every 30 days, we're dropping in to make sure that you are on pace to reach whatever the goal is. So if you want to be a part of it, I want you to be a part of it. I want to give you everything that I know when it comes to business and financial coaching and consulting and real estate coaching and consulting, and I want you to succeed. And I know as long as you're continuing to do your part, we're going to do our part, you're going to get to where you want to go. Just text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Now, if our mentorship program is something that is just too far away from you and you just don't think that's what you want to do today, you can always choose to join our Millionaire Blueprint, just the online version of our training. You can get access to that today by texting the word millionaire. And when you text the word millionaire, we'll reach back out to you today and just let us know what program you would like to have access to, whether it's our online Millionaire Blueprint or our Millionaire Mentorship program. Either way, you cannot go wrong getting more training, being held accountable, learning the fundamentals of business, finance, investing, so that you can take your life to the next level. And also you can go to RamonPreston.com. If you visit my website, RamonPreston.com, everything that I'm telling you about, you'll see it on there. You'll see information about our mentorship program, about our licensing program, our certification program, our blueprint. You'll see everything on there. Just feel free to go to RamonPreston.com or text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. I love all of you so much. I appreciate you giving me some of your time on this beautiful Saturday, the first day of this calendar year. We're still working on my studio in the other room, And I was told that they'll be back here Monday, so I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be able to host our 12 o'clock show. And so I definitely wanted to kick this year off right by coming on, talking to you a little bit about goals, about schedule. I didn't even really get a chance to talk about scheduling, but if I had time to talk about scheduling, I would have actually shared with you information on how you set your schedule up. And the best way to set your schedule up is to really use your calendar on your phone and just start from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep and fill in all that white space. That's the easiest way and pretty much the best way to do it. So you go to every day in your schedule. So let's say if you went to tomorrow, Sunday, you looked at the time you typically wake up and the time you go to bed, and you start filling in all the white space. You start filling in all the white space. Your goal is to have no white space in between that time from you waking up and you going to bed, so that you can make the most out of your schedule every day. I have a few tips that I give and I teach our clients and our students. Number one, to beat the sun up every day and immediately begin your routine. So even if you don't beat the sun up every day, because some days we're not going to beat the sun up if we sleep in and this is a day of rest, but you should at least have your schedule in your calendar set, so that I would rather hit the snooze button than not hit the snooze button because I didn't have a set schedule in my calendar. Number two, implement a daily schedule that completely fills all your white spaces. So that means if you get up and pray, if you meditate, if you exercise, if you eat, if you study, you want to set all that on your schedule. Even if you don't set it up as individual things, well, maybe that's a 2-hour window. So if you get up at 7, that means from 7 to 9, it's all about getting those 8 or 9 things done. From 9 to 10, you're going to check your emails and check your Facebook and your LinkedIn and your YouTube accounts. But if you put that stuff on a schedule, you're not just randomly hitting and missing. Especially in this world of social media, you can get on social media and get lost for an hour or two, and then you look back and think, man, what happened to my day? Then you watching TV. You need to have slots in your schedule on your calendar that you give yourself permission to watch TV or to go to social media or to make calls to friends and to goof off. You need to give yourself permission so that you can continue to keep a schedule. Number 3, execute your action steps and your target. So that means there's some action steps, things that you need to do today. What are those things? Things that are going to get me to that number, things that are going to get me closer to reaching my goals. And who do I need to contact? So there are things to do and there are contacts to make. Every day you should be making contacts. So even if I'm not talking to you in person right now, if you're watching me, guess what I've done? I made contact. Maybe you're not the one that's going to do business with me, but somebody is going to do business with me. Somebody is going to listen to me and take heed to what I'm saying. Somebody is going to hear me enough to believe that what I'm saying is true and to want to be a business partner with me. So I just have to make those contacts. And then last but not least, you want to revisit your goals, your action steps, and your targets to reflect your daily schedule. So all this information I have available on our online platform, and we walk all of our clients through this who join our Millionaire Mentorship program. So again, go to RamonPreston.com, or you could just text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Happy New Year to you. I love you. I'm praying for you. If there's anything that we can do, please don't let a day of this year go by without you doing something to get towards your goals. I love you. Have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing you. If not tomorrow, I'll see you Monday. I may be live tomorrow as well. I just feel like I want to show up every day as much as I can, even on lives and not just with pre-recorded videos. So I love you. Look forward to hearing from you and look forward to succeeding with you